And again, Daniel Thomas MacInnes is on fire writing these 3D showcases for Saturn, these articles. If you guys have read either of the last two parts, you'd know that not only does he have like a nice little introduction, and each introduction is talking about like the generation and what was said about Saturn, what the at the time, what the kind of what the console war was doing, in terms of people's opinions on Saturn 3D graphics versus PlayStation, stuff like that. So some interesting stuff to read. And then also he's got he gives you at least like 20 or so 25 different games to look at with a little blurb about each game, what made it unique, what made it special, what it was doing graphically. So good article. And I love me some World Series Baseball too, I gotta say. Even though it's still sprite based, they hadn't moved to the 3D yet with the 98. I really do like World Series Baseball too. How about you, Pat? Are you into baseball games at all?
I think about baseball and a swing all night, as the classic Warrant.
Gotcha.
Quoting the legend Warrants, but
yeah.
No, I actually had World Series Baseball '98 on my Game Gear.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Was it 90 or is it 96? I can't remember, but I had it on my Game Gear and I actually played it a lot.
Yeah.
I was garbage at it, and I still am. I actually am garbage on baseball video games and in real life. Fun fact: I'm bad at baseball, but I really enjoyed it. I never played World Series Baseball '98, sadly. But I'll have to try it out. I know we're gonna do baseball games, and knowing you, Dave, that you're.
I hope so. Yeah, that'd be rad.
Yeah, that we're gonna do that eventually. So I'll be forced to play baseball games and cry, eventually. But,
and a lot of people say that 98 is better because it's like got the 3D engine and everything. I kind of think that they're two different things. They're both good games. So they're very different because of their engines. So. There's something to be said for both. And then you have, of course, Croc.
Of course. Who could forget the classic Croc?
Who could forget Croc? Argonaut Software, Dylan Cuthbert, burned by Miyamoto and paid off under the table. Like, here you go. Sorry we stole your game. Of course, Mario 64 did it better. Yeah. Mario 64 did it better. Yeah. But I like Croc. Exactly. I do.
No, I'm just joking.
Good old Need for Speed. Yeah. Road and Track presents Need for Speed, I should say.
You mean was it GTR Racing or whatever on?
Hard driving? Was it?
Hard driving.
Nissan GTR. Yeah, exactly.
The GTR, the best car of all time.
Better frame rate than the 3DO, but not as smooth. Like kind of jumpy. I don't know. There's something to be said for both of them, to be honest. But I mean, I probably enjoy playing the Saturn version more, but it is a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, K, Greatest 998 Summer Action. He's all about the Japanese Greatest 9. It's a great series, and of course,
I do like Nihon Baseball. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Oh man, Deep Fear. Yeah, he's got some Deep Fear here. Excellent looking game.
I like that one.
It's a showpiece. It's a graphic showpiece on the Saturn. Definitely stands up to Resident Evil. Maybe not gameplay wise. I mean, I think Resident Evil still tops it, but definitely got it in the looks.
That's some decent gameplay though.
Absolutely. And Vodka Rotor, man.
That one's a good mixture of 2D and 3D.
Have you played it?
No, because it's in full Japanese.
I thought it was kind of English friendly though, right?
A little bit. It seems like it for the most part, but I definitely think some that needs a fan translation.
Definitely. It's got a lot of icons, I think, that are kind of, you don't really need the language to be able to understand what you're going to do because there's like pictorial icons. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say, again, I mean, I can't talk because it's one of those ones where I've just kind of sat on it and I'm waiting for hopefully someday somebody will do an English translation. I feel like chances are pretty good these days considering, lots of folks are looking for projects to jump on. So I will
Vodka Rotor is gonna
knock on wood
sooner or later.
Yeah. We got some Die Hard Arcade here. Excellent arcade game and a really good conversion, I think. Still fun.
Is it a conversion? It's isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's a It uses the Titan board STV, which is basically the Saturn. So.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. It is. So it's essentially arcade perfect, I think.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah,
What else?
I don't know the full details, but it should be.
Oh, it's funny. He wrote about high velocity and oh no, okay, this is high velocity mountain racing challenge. Not to be confused with the Highway 2000, I think, right?
I believe so, because I think the Highway 2000's like in Japan's like Wangan
Dead Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
K said STV is more RAM. So it's kind of close.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks very similar. And it plays just as good. You know, I mean, plays really good. You can use an arcade stick. You can use the D-pad. Both are great options. Iron Storm would be, I guess, the most affordable U.S. working designs game, right? Because lots of folks are just turned off by the war simulation.
Yeah, I kind of want to play that one. It seems interesting. It kind of reminds you of Famicom Wars, or I guess Advanced Wars if you're in the United States. And
they got the full-on real Nazi symbol there too. Maybe that's why Sega didn't want to touch it. I don't know.
Makes sense.
But working designs brought it over.
Yeah. I mean, history. I mean, it's history. You know, you can't really.
You're not wrong. Oh man, here's a game I love. I mean, I know some people don't think much of it, but Alien Trilogy, I think it's great. I mean, and I think it really is a great game, considering that it's not like fully utilizing all of Saturn's hardware, you know. I think it's a really fun game. I did a stream of it a year or two ago. It was a lot of fun, and you and Ben were there.
I remember that was a lot of fun, and it actually looked quite good. Does it use the Quake engine, or is it use one of the Doom engines, or is it just another engine entirely?
We talked about that. The what was that? The build engine? I don't think it uses the build engine. It does have a lot of like verticality to it, you know, climbing up steps and shooting up and stuff like that. I don't think that it uses the build engine, but I don't really know what engine it uses, to be completely honest. I just know I've read a lot of articles in magazines saying that it was like using one of the SH2s because I don't know, maybe it was like Nick said about virtual racing, where they just didn't want to have to debug two. But either way, you know, for using one, it's really good, you know. Not the best FPS.
Yeah, Papa said in the chat that many believe Resident Evil 4 is the first to have interactions during the cutscene, and it said not true. Die Hard also had it.
Oh right, yeah, the QuickTime events.
Which makes sense.
Of course, those weren't real.
Yeah.
Well, those weren't. Are we talking FMV cutscenes, or are we talking with interaction, or are we talking
interaction cutscenes? Yeah,
just interactive cutscenes.
QuickTime events.
I gotcha.
I think that was one of the first ones. To be honest, though, I actually don't. I have a controversial opinion whether I don't really like Resident Evil 4 that much, but we'll talk about that later on during the live stream.
That is a controversial opinion.
We'll talk about it. It's complicated. It's complicated.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Here, I gotta change the window size. Okay, so we've got some Manx TT Superbike. I like it. It's kind of bare bones as far as like it doesn't stand up to Daytona or Sega Rally, and even those games are kind of slim in content, but it's fun. Yeah, no, it's got the fun factor for sure. And I mean, you can race on two courses, and I think forwards and backwards, and you can ride a sheep. And it was Tantalus, which also did the port of what is it? They're an Australian developer that handled the port of God, what is it? Wipeout. They handled the Wipeout port, which was also, you know, good but not great because it ran at like 20 frames per second, and I think it's pretty unforgivable for a racing game to run at 20 frames per second. But
yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah, but I mean, this game runs great. It's a fun game, and it's always one that's fun in the groups where they like give us challenges and see who can get the best lap time and everything. I'm never gonna come in first, but I always like participating in those.
I'm just never gonna place in general. I suck at racing games.
Scorcher's an excellent. I mean, if any game belongs on this list talking about Saturn graphics, I think Scorcher is exemplary, because that's pretty much like what it's all about, is the graphics engine. And it was Zyrinx and Daniel Small who had helped code Red Zone and Subterranea on the Genesis. And they, like, their whole bag was like doing, you know, they were like Amiga demo scene folks who really just tried to push the Saturn hardware and make it do new and interesting things. It's kind of slim on gameplay is what it is, actually, because that was not really what they did best. Is, you know, they did like tech demos and stuff like that. So, you know, actually turning it into a cohesive gaming experience. I was listening back to our alternative racers, and you were talking about how it, like, you press start because you want to go to the menu, and it takes like a few seconds to actually load up the menu, you know, from pressing start in the middle of a race, you know. So there were things that were not optimized about it, and I have been researching my butt off on this company because we're getting ready to maybe explore it a little bit more, but I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Fair enough, and I think it's kind of funny they have 2 games in a row for the Project Scorcher guys, right? Or the Project Scavenger
A.M.O.K.
guys.
Oh, well, he mentions A.M.O.K, but maybe he missed the screenshot for it. Oh yeah, it looks like we're missing the image for A.M.O.K because it like belongs like right there. But yeah, A.M.O.K was actually another scavenger team, Lemon, who again, Swedish Amiga, or Danish Amiga hacker scene, demo scene group, who would just, you know, their whole deal was, you know, pushing hardware basically. And they were doing a PC version. They did a PC version of this and a Saturn version. And from what I understand, even that, it was late. It was supposed to come out in 96. They got it out in 97, satisfying half of their contract with GT Interactive, but pissing off GT Interactive and causing problems for themselves with the second half. But yeah,
we're going to talk about that.
We're going to be talking about that. Is A.M.O.K any good? I think it is. I think it is, actually. It uses voxels for the landscape. I know that doesn't say that it's good, but I mean, it does a lot of impressive things visually, and it's good. But is it $40 good? No. I mean, if you're on eBay and you're looking for like a boxed copy, it's not worth it unless you're like a serious collector. Is it worth, you know, picking up a disc only, or just, you know, downloading a copy and putting it on your satiator? Sure. I think that it is. You should check it out. It runs smooth, and it's a graphics showcase for the Saturn. Definitely, you boot that up, and it looks like any good-looking PlayStation game. Honestly, easily on par.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be like Mansion Hidden Souls, where that's up in the hundreds range now. That one.
Oh no, Mansion is not. Mansion Hidden Souls is not that expensive. Then again, it's not that good either, but Lunacy is crazy expensive. Lunacy is crazy expensive, yeah. But I know it's not worth.
eBay and it was like, I was looking on eBay and it was like $135 to $200
for Mansion or for Lunacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Mansion.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll double check. I'll be the check while Dave does the other.
Okay,
thing.
if that's the case, that is messed up. That's jacked up, and maybe it has something to do with Nick's video, or maybe it has to do with like an increased awareness. I have a copy of it, but I think it was like a $20 game or something like that. It's definitely not worth that. Lunacy is phenomenal. I love it. I think that it's very David Lynch. It's very, you know, got that Twin Peaks vibe. It's it's like 30 to 35. I don't know what I was looking at and why it was so high. You could have been looking at.
I think I'm gonna look at Lunacy by mistake.
Lunacy definitely is crazy prices. It's just crazy money, and I mean, if you can get it complete with the map and everything like that, yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean, don't let that stop you from playing it, because I think everybody should. If you're even slightly interested in like the FMV genre, it's exemplary because it does it best. They designed an engine where it loads the next place before you even go there, so that when you, what is Pat?
Sorry, Crow put Maryland Mansion.
Maryland Mansion. Crow. We're gonna call him Crow now, like the Crow.
A murder of K-Rose.
Well, he does have a soft spot for the Crow. You know, and that's a hard thing to
who doesn't?
admit.
The Crow rocked.
But I mean, okay, I'm gonna stop talking about Lunacy because it's not even on this damn list. But it is a good game. I hope people will. I'm an advocate. Okay, I'm an advocate for Lunacy.
We just jumped up by $500 more.
Yeah, I'm just not an advocate of the Lunacy of spending $200 on it on eBay.
The Lunacy of Lunacy.
That's just ridiculous. World Cup France '98 Road to Win. Soccer or football, whatever, on the Saturn is a blind spot for me. Honestly, I could not tell you which is the best game, but you know, I'm imagine that it's one that we didn't get probably. You know, it's one that probably came out in Europe only. More baseball. My favorite, to be honest with you, AllStar Baseball '97 featuring Frank Thomas with commentary from Mike Krukow, who actually, I'm not a Giants fan by any means, but he does have a silky voice, and this actually has the best like in-game commentary. What did you just say?
Giants rule.
No.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. This isn't the New York Giants, is it?
No. Well, I mean, they were the New York Giants, and then they moved to San Francisco like a long time ago. But yeah, no, Mike Krukow from.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant the New York Giants for a second. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, everybody swears by 98, you know, or Greatest Nine, you know, essentially the same game with a different roster. But, you know, I just love this game. I love this All-Star Baseball '97 featuring Frank Thomas. Forget the Frank Thomas part. I think like there was a Big Hurt Baseball with Frank Thomas, and then like they're just using his name here. But this is essentially the All-Star series that would end up going on the N64. Once the Saturn died out and the N64 kind of picked it up.
Yeah. Wait, is it San Diego Giants or is it just California? What Giants is it?
Are you trolling me right now? It's the San Francisco Giants.
San Francisco Giants. Yeah. I was gonna say what about the Giants listed and abandoned San Diego like the Padres?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about football?
For the Chargers. Never mind.
Yeah, well, the Chargers.
The Chargers for a second.
Don't even get me started on the Chargers.
We don't talk about anymore.
But I mean, you know,
it's still the San Diego Padres. My bad.
The Chargers have been all over the place. They've been all over the place. You know, they've been to LA and back, and then to LA and back. All right, moving on. Yeah, we got Street Racer. Street Racer is a lot of fun. I have a copy. I have an import copy. I don't have a huge import collection, but I do have a copy of this, and I like it a lot. It blends sprite work and 3D graphics, and it is kind of a showpiece for the Saturn. I really do enjoy that. And All-Star Baseball starting to get expensive, Kay is saying. He's not kidding. This game can go for around $100. It's crazy. I don't know why. It must be like low print run.
All the baseball fans?
I don't know, man. It's just, I think it's one of those games that got a low print run, and if you want a nice pristine long box, you're gonna have to pay for it. Sega Ages Power Drift.
If you're big, if you're big San Francisco Giants fan, you should pick it up.
No comment, but I will say, are you a fan of Power Drift? Or any of those like super scalar games?
Sadly.
No? It's good. I don't
super scalar, yeah. I like oh man, I forgot the name, but the one where it's like the isometric one, you're on the thing with the gun, and it's like that's not very descriptive, is it?
Isometric.
It's the one it's the one where it's like welcome to the fantasy zone, get ready.
Oh, that's
I can't remember the name of it.
Don't do this to me. Why can't now you've made me brain fart?
I keep forgetting it.
Yeah, welcome to the fantasy zone. It's a
yeah.
Fuck. Okay, it's the lights that are doing this. Sorry, Space Harrier. Thank you. Thank you, Dan Trax.
It's the lights.
Yeah, it's the lights, right? No, yeah, Space Harrier is amazing. You know, it's funny how they would make racing games with the super scalar stuff where it's like the road is just a bunch of sprites coming at you really quick, you know? I don't know anybody who loves super scalar games more than like Mel, Sega Lord X. He's just like all about those. Because he was just the perfect age for that, you know? I would always play Power Drift in the arcade. Like there was a bowling alley I'd go to, and they had a Power Drift, and they had a Afterburner 2. And I play those games a lot. I have the 3DS version of it. M2 did a conversion for the 3DS. Plays really well, and it has like a little A.M.O.K cabinet. You know, it's good. It's some good gaming.
Sadly, they never had any of those in the arcades I went to. It's always like Space Harrier or Outrun or something of that nature.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta hurry up. So, D-Bass Fishing 1 and 2. You know, this is something I've been thinking about, like what I've been thinking about with limited space, like say 512 gigabytes on a SD card. I've been thinking about like what Japanese import games do I want to put on my drive, because there's a lot more than 512 gigabytes, and I have not played any fishing games on the Saturn, but there's quite a few of them actually. I've noticed there are like quite a few 3D fishing games and even some 2D ones. So I need to look more into the fishing games, because it looks like there's some good ones, and even PAL territories.
I think you say you're gonna copy and paste that 512 times until it's the only game on the drive.
That's not at all what I was gonna say, but that's
That's an opinion.
That is an opinion. No, but I'm interested in some getting into some fishing games. I just don't know which ones are the ones that folks recommend. So, Sea Bass Fishing 1, I think got a release. It got an English release. Not that the language really matters in a fishing game, but it got a PAL release, but it just didn't get localized to the United States.
Yeah. The only fishing game you need is Sega Bass Fisher.
Papetsu is like, I don't understand why people would play fishing games. You know, when you've played pretty much everything there is to play, you start scraping the barrel for like stuff. Last week I played a bowling game that actually didn't end up being that bad. I actually had a lot of fun with it. Although my stream got borked like right in the middle. There was like some kind of an event, some kind of like an outage or something in my neighborhood, and it completely took the stream down. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, Dave's the only one that actually enjoyed Big the Cat's story in Sonic Adventure 1.
Dude, screw you. Soldier's Child, have you played this game?
I have not. It looks kind of cool, though. I like the concept of the medieval fighters.
Honestly, the only thing I know about this game is that guy Johnny Knight in several of the groups was just like, you guys have to play this game. It's so much better than all the crap RPGs that you guys are playing.
In all honesty, he did get me kind of hyped to play it, though.
Did he? Yeah, well, I mean...
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody with that strong opinion, I mean, you have
to give it a second look.
Some hype, yeah. You don't just, like, go crazy on that.
Exactly. You're just like, okay, how is it that I've never really paid this game any attention, and this guy's telling me that it's like better than Dragon Force or whatever, and I doubt that it is.
There's a lot of games on the Saturn that's like that.
Yeah, it is a Koei game.
Look at it's
a Koei game, so
nice.
that's possible. Well, that's probably why I haven't looked at it, because most Koei games are just kind of like, you know, you need a lot of time and patience, and I'm just not one of those people.
I don't have any patience.
We talked about Vandal Hearts being kind of like that. What is it? You know, the isometric.
Like Disgaea.
Yeah, Disgaea, Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Battle, that kind of thing.
And unlike Final Fantasy Tactics, this game is actually good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Just joking.
And it's got an English translation. So why haven't I played it yet? Yeah. Time. But I'm gonna get there. And then we've got a pool game, and it's in 3D. I was actually looking at this because I'm interested in the Minnesota Fats game, but there's actually a 3D pool game. It's a Japanese exclusive called Side Pocket 3.
I prefer playing some Domino Fats.
Domino Fats?
Yep, Fats Domino.
Fats Domino?
You know, whatever. Exactly.
You're just full of them.
Minnesota Fats.
You're full of them today. You got.
I keep thinking of Fats Domino every time I hear Minnesota Fats.
I need to get a Stream Deck so that I can just go with the sound effect and like the butt up every time you tell a joke, because I swear you're just on fire.
Just replace it with booing.
There you go. Yes. Yes, we need some booing too.
Please boo me.
Thunderstrike 2.
What's the next game?
Thunderstrike 2. I have it. It's good. I like it. It's not, you know, Thunderstrike came up with the super scaling stuff, you know, so that was like the pedigree, and this does not live up to that, but it's still fun, you know, and I think I got it for like $10, so it was worth it.
That's going to be our helicopter cast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. There are a lot of crap helicopter games on the Saturn. Black Fire, Black Dawn, Black, I don't know. Anyway, but the point is that Soviet Strike and Thunderstrike 2 are the two good ones. Soviet Strike, for production value, EA they dumped so much money into that game. The music, the FMVs, they're excellent. But Thunderstrike 2 is good in its own right. It's a core game.
So we're gonna Yeah, are we gonna call the cast Poop Copter when they do a
Poop
helicopter game cast?
Oh, and he mentioned Soviet Strike next. Man, Daniel, you're on the ball. I don't know. Should we call it Poop Copter? Revenge of the...
I don't know. Is there like only 2 good helicopter games?
There are only 2 that I can think of. Yeah, there are only 2 that I can really... That I would...
We'll do Poop Copter and we'll do a follow-up, the Good Copter.
This game, Virtual Golf, not to be confused with Virtua Golf by Gremlin Studios, which looks very similar. This game, actually, I put it on my satiator because I saw it and I was like, this looks cool. Like, how have I not played this? It looks good. It's really boring, honestly. It's boring when it comes to like...
Not as good as Everybody's Golf?
It just doesn't click. It's not one of those games, when a golf game needs to be like really fun, it needs to have some kind of a gimmick to drive it. And no pun there, sorry. No pun intended with the drive it. But it's Virtual Golf is just boring.
Ultra boring.
But it looks good. And this is a graphics This is a graphics thing, so whatever. It looks good. Taramaro, of course, looks great, but it's expensive AF, so... Moving on. No,
it definitely has some good 3D effects. I really enjoy the mixture of the 2D and 3D, because you think it's a 2D game and it uses the 3D effects to sort of enhance it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about the Saturn, and that you don't get a lot on other consoles, is that blending of 2D and 3D. I mean, I love a good 3D game and a good 2D game, but when they blend it together and it works, which is why I was saying Street Racer is one of those where you're like, oh, I like this. The sprite work looks really, really fresh. It looks really sharp, and yet all the 3D graphics look great too. So it's one of those games where I can highly recommend that you have a copy on your ODE, but unless you've got crazy money to burn, yeah, or you're just going to be getting a repro.
Remember when we thought 500 was pretty expensive for that game? I think it's up to 1,500 now.
Yeah, that keeps happening where we're just like, we keep thinking that these prices are ridiculous, and then next year it's like, are you kidding me? Like Magic Knight Ray Earth is over 1,000 now. It was like 300 when we started the podcast. But I will say with this game that you got to be careful, actually, because there are a lot of repros out there, and if you think you're getting a good deal, you might be buying a repro. I'm not kidding. There's this Brazilian company who are like stamping discs, they're Old School Game Arts, I think they're called. And I mean, they do good work, but I mean, it's like, it looks like the real thing. And, of course, like the contrast and exposure is terrible, because they're taking scans of the games and then they're having to like boost the contrast in order to get rid of like artifacts, from the scan. So you can always kind of tell when there's a repro, even a good repro, just because the color is wrong,